Hi everybody, this is Michael Sanders of the Michael Sanders Go Sees show, in which I interview the models who come and see me for work on Go Sees and talk to them about their lives and their careers in modeling. And my lovely Go See of the day is...
Kayla Gallagher. Hi,
Wicked.
everyone.
Kayla Gallagher from Silent Models.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're boiling. It's mid-July. We're coming up to... No, it's about the 12th of July.
Yeah.
13th? I forget.
I think
and
it's
it's
the 13th.
freaking hot. It's 90 degrees outside generally, although this week was a bit lower at 80, around the 80s. But because of... We don't have AC in this room.
Yeah.
This is Tallulah's room. We have a fan. We had to turn that off and also close the windows because of the sound. So here we are boiling.
But it gives a nice glow,
sheen.
I think.
A
nice
dewy glow
Yeah.
to the both of us.
Yes.
Welcome. I always start with asking, where are you from?
So, I have been here about a month now from LA.
You were
Los
born in
Angeles.
Los Angeles.
I wasn't born in Los Angeles, actually.
Where were you born should be the question.
I was born in Washington, D.C.
Wow, that's a long way.
Yeah. My dad was in the Army for about 24 years, and so we moved around the States a bit, and then when he retired, we retired in Los Angeles.
Would you consider yourself, therefore, a Army brat?
I would, yes, I definitely would. I lived on an Army base, traveled across country about 3 different times, so I think that I've earned
You qualify
that
for your
name.
stripes. You've earned your stripes.
Yeah, I've earned my stripes,
As
I
an Army
think,
brat.
so...
What does your mother do? What's her name? Let me have you the names of your parents.
Okay, so my father's name is John Gallagher.
Fantastic. Is that from Irish, English, Scots?
Irish,
descent?
yeah.
Irish.
He's actually, we did that ancestry.
.com.
Yeah, and he's 99.9% Irish. So.
What's the 1% that got in?
You know, I don't even know. Maybe Scottish.
Probably
It's
across the
something, I know,
border,
yeah.
generations back.
Yeah.
So what about your mum?
My mom is Colombian. Her name's Vivian. Hinao.
Right. So you look like your mother. Let's start
okay.
off right there, right? Is that
Do
true?
I don't know. I think that I have like a mix between both parents. I always feel like I look like my dad, but a lot of people, usually people from Europe, are like say that I look more Hispanic.
Colombia.
Yeah.
The Hispanic.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you have dark hair.
Yeah, I think it's the dark
eyes,
hair and dark eyes.
olive skin.
Yes.
And you have olive skin all year round like me, as opposed to just being white and then you tan in the summer. Okay. So you might have your father's features, but you have the overall appearance of your mother's colouring?
I think so, probably.
Yeah?
And I think I have her smile. I have a really large smile, and I think I get that from her.
How did your parents meet? Do you know that story?
I do. Actually, it's really funny. When I was younger, they used to tell us that they met in a library. And we believe them,
Yes.
but
Was
they
it
actually
a local public library?
I guess it was, but
They weren't just making this up?
they were making it up.
I
We later found out that they met at
A bar.
a bar. Yeah.
Of course, the seedy truth.
Yeah, and they got married after 2 months.
That's whirlwind.
Yeah, and now they've been together 22 years or something
Wow.
like that. Yeah.
What's your mummy's name?
Vivian.
Okay, that's a very English name.
Is it?
It sounds like it to me, Vivian.
Yeah.
Viv, for sure.
Viv, it's a good name, I think. She said she hated it growing up because she feels like it's an older name, but I think it's really beautiful.
It is older.
Yeah.
Does anyone call her Viv? Is it ever
yes.
shortened? It is, as a nickname?
Yeah, as a nickname. Her family does, and I do sometimes. Like Viv, yeah.
So your mum was a stay-at-home mum? To a soldier?
Yeah, she was most of my life. She now works at a hospital just as like a kind of a billing person, but most of my life she was a stay-at-home mom.
And do you have any siblings?
I do. I'm the oldest of 4 others. So there's 5 of us in total.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That's very Irish.
Is it? Yeah, it's very Irish and Colombian, actually.
Oh,
I
right.
think.
Colombians
Yeah.
have lots of kids
They
too.
have lots of kids too. On my dad's side, his mom is one of 10 children, and then on my mom's side, her mother is one of 15.
Wow. So how much has the Colombian influence been apparent at all in your lives? Or have they both basically assimilated? Were they both born here?
So, yeah, both my parents are first generation.
Okay.
So I'm second generation.
So they're born here, in other words?
They were born here, yes.
Right.
But both my grandparents came here
From the old country.
Yeah, from the old country, yeah.
So are those sets of grandparents still alive?
Yes. Well, the Colombian side, both of them are still alive and going really strong. They're really, really healthy, actually. On my father's side, though, my grandpa recently died of Parkinson's. So,
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah. So
Sorry to hear that. But did you know him while he was alive?
I did know him. We actually spent a lot of time in New Jersey where they have a home. And so we would go there a lot during the summer because I spent a lot of time on the East Coast, like more so North Carolina, like Washington, D.C., areas like that. So
why did your parents decide to settle in LA?
So
Was that but his career that sent him there, or was it a choice?
it was a choice, definitely, because when you retire, you can choose anywhere
Oh, right,
that
yes,
you
he
want to be.
retired. So was
Yeah,
he an
retired.
older dad?
He's how old is he? I should know this. He's 53 now. I
Okay,
think, so,
right. Gosh, that's
yeah.
fairly early to retire, I would suggest.
He's actually he retired, but he's LAPD now.
Is he?
Yeah, so
So you had a soldier
He's a-
and now a cop dad?
yeah, now a cop dad.
Oh, wow. Of the infamous LAPD.
The infamous LAPD. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be saying that out loud. I'm just
No,
like,
of course. I mean, he's doing his job.
yeah, he is.
So are soldiers and cop dads different to other dads? Are they more strict? Is it a cliche to think that your beds have to have hospital corners and you're more disciplined because of his army training that he's somehow passed
Yeah.
down to you?
You know,
Or did he
I
go
don't-
completely the other way and didn't care?
honestly, my dad, he was gone a lot when I was growing up.
Right.
Because he was in the infantry, and so he was like in the field a lot, and he would
Wow.
also he left to Afghanistan for
wow.
a while, and so he wasn't around too much. I think that he was honestly kind of scary growing up for me.
Oh, wow.
But now he's very like
So he was an authoritarian
he's
character.
yes. But now it's complete. I don't know if it was just being a little kid, because he actually looks pretty scary. He's like 6'4".
Is he Muslim?
Yeah.
Does he work out? Does he or not?
I don't know if
You haven't checked his body out for a while.
He's 53. He has a little
Belly
belly.
coming? A
He
bit of
shouldn't
a-
watch this. He would.
He's gonna watch
He
it.
would
Don't
be so
worry, Dad.
embarrassed.
Dad, the truth. There's nothing wrong with the truth.
There's nothing wrong with the truth.
Yeah.
No, he's in really good shape except for the 53-year-old
Middle-aged man.
middle-aged. Yeah, exactly going on. But he's a pretty big guy.
Right. And so
yeah.
he cuts an awesome figure in the world.
Yeah, he's a commanding. I think when he enters the room, he's like a really
man.
commanding
Presence.
a commanding presence, which is funny because it's like kind of a contradiction because he's also very like quiet person.
Okay, tell me about the zodiac signs of the family.
Oh, okay. So my dad is a Virgo.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Jesus
that's
Christ. Is he alien retentive?
He's possibly.
He's precise.
Yeah.
He's detail orientated, let's say,
Yes.
which is a classic Virgo trait.
Yeah.
And things have to be done right, and they have to be done well.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's very straight down the line.
Yes, he is. He's kind of like things are black and white, not really gray. Which
Yeah.
I feel like things are kind of gray.
That the
but
world is grey.
I think it can be, yeah.
Absolutely. Every single tiny little gradation.
My
rather-
agent's calling me. Hello.
The life of a model.
Yeah.
Do you need to take that as a
No.
donation?
I
Okay.
don't think so.
Okay, so your sign.
I am a Cancer.
Okay, so
So my birthday is coming up.
very
Yeah,
soon.
very soon. I'm going to be 22.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and
Thank you.
and I wish you a happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Do you consider yourself a typical Cancerian?
So I feel like I am into zodiac signs, and maybe people will argue about this, but I was born
Yeah.
on the last day of Cancer.
Ooh.
So I'm a cusp, Cancer Leo.
Oh, I'm 24th of July.
Oh, so you're a
So
Leo
I'm a
Cancer.
baby Leo, and
Yeah.
you're an old Cancer,
Yes, yeah.
right?
But
So you've got Leo traits, you think, that creep
I-
in,
I
because there are
definitely do,
two
yeah.
schools of thought, as I understand it. There's one school that doesn't believe in cusps at all.
Yeah.
That if the sun's rising when you were born, you're that sign,
Yeah.
and it's flipped into another energy altogether. I probably tend to think that life is always mutable. Energies are
think so.
mutable.
Yeah.
And therefore you can be susceptible to other vibrations
I agree.
from
I
those
totally
planets.
agree.
Which is
Yeah.
the whole point of astrology anyway.
Yes.
How would you describe yourself, therefore, in those terms? Are you an emotional person? Are you
I would definitely say
watery? Because the Cancer Leo thing, in ostensibly opposites because I'm fire and you're water.
Yes.
Right? But do you believe in that kind of thing? Are you watery?
I do actually believe in that. I feel that I am an emotional person. I feel that I'm really moody.
Yeah, I think cancers are very moody and passive aggressive.
I am very passive aggressive. I am very passive.
Another
I'll admit it. But also, I think we're actually kind of annoying. I do agree. I think that we're kind of annoying
because you're ostensibly nurturing everybody.
Yes, yeah.
And you're doing good by everyone else, and somehow shortchanging yourself, and then intensely resentful as a result.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, he knows cancers. What cancer do you know?
Strangely enough, I'm married to a Sagittarian.
Oh, okay.
And my wife, all her friends are cancers. So I know a lot of cancers through my wife's friendships with them. And there are actually, yeah, I have a friend who has a Cancerian girlfriend, and that seems to be a theme.
Yeah, I think that
very loving, very kind, very nurturing, but resentful that they're not getting the energy back or not getting the attention back or
exactly, you hit the nail on the head. I think I don't even need to explain. Also, I'm the oldest child, so I feel like it did a lot of
course, so you've got a lot of responsibility. You had to give a lot to your siblings. So that happened, does it? That happens to the firstborn.
I think so. Yeah, it does.
So you've had all that responsibility in a way to shoulder.
Yes.
And do they all take the piss and not appreciate you?
We're making me sound like a martyr.
Well, the martyr complex is a Cancerian
it's a
one,
thing,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Okay, so I love taking care of my siblings though, but I think it gives you a little bit of anxiety taking care of especially so many people, and I think it is a thing, like the older sibling complex, kind of your parents, like if something's going wrong, immediately like
You're
call
the
you
first.
you know, like even with
Point
any
of call.
like can't you talk to your brother or your sisters, like you need to talk to them, and it's like
a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, a lot of just responsibility, but I really love it. It's the only thing I've ever known. And
do you like children?
I love children, yeah. I don't see myself
having any.
I do, definitely not 5.
No, I can't even imagine how people do 2. Frankly, I have one daughter, and it's enough for me.
Oh, only one.
I only have one, and I really believe the purpose of life is to create babies and life and all the rest of it. Even so, we've only had one. Even given the fact that I think it's essentially the meaning of life and the greatest source of happiness and fulfillment, we've only had one.
Well, I think
I don't know what it's like to have the 2 and the different family dynamic that's created by that.
Complicated.
It's complicated.
Family's complicated.
When it goes to 5, what the fuck is going on there?
I think it's the only thing my mom can think about, honestly.
You're totally outnumbered.
You're totally outnumbered. Like constantly, your child's safety is on your mind. That's why, I don't want to have more than. I think I would want to, though.
You'd have to.
I think.
Would you want a girl and a boy? Would you want to experience that different thing? Because that's how I feel. I feel if I had a boy, would I be cuddling him and kissing him as much as Tallulah and all of those gender things that I assume, yes, I would be. But to have that sort of energy and see a little boy to man created as opposed to a little girl to woman, which I'm enjoying immensely.
Yeah, did you want a girl or?
My wife and I thought we'd have 3 boys, which is very strange and very
specific.
Odd. And I don't know why.
Like 3 boys, not like, oh, maybe, like
girl. To the degree, to my embarrassment, that when we were in the hospital and my wife had an amniocentesis to find out, we did find out, and there was that millisecond of, oh, it's a girl. It wasn't disappointment as such, but it was the fact that it was different to our expectations.
Yeah, your expectations lead to disappointments.
And so you should always, philosophically, expect the worst. Expect the worst. Hope for the best. Plan for the worst.
That's my motto.
Is it?
That is my motto.
It serves us well. It does.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of Seneca, who was the philosopher who coined that kind of thinking.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the analogy a modern philosopher gave was that when you go to work in the morning, you take the same route. Let's say you're driving to work, and someone cuts you off. The fact that you haven't learnt that it's the surprise of having your optimism, having your view of the world, your perfect view of the world, altered by the guy cutting you off. Optimistic people are the ones who react, right? Because it's just the shock. Oh, the world is not as I want it to be.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
To build in the reality that, okay, I'm driving to work and I know that someone's going to cut me off this morning. I'm prepared for that. So when it happens, I'm not shocked into it. I'm not shocked into the anger or shocked into the despair of it or the feeling of how unfair or whatever. So it's sort of preparing yourself for the reality, seeing life very realistically.
Yeah.
And sort of preparing for that. But on the flip side, optimists who can get hurt when their expectations aren't met can bounce back.
Yeah.
In many ways, I think you have to be optimistic in life because you have to want each new day we want to manifest.
Yes.
And you can only manifest, I think, when you're feeling that anything's possible.
True.
Right?
I agree, yeah.
Pessimists end up sick and ill.
They do, yeah. And then not doing...
And then, and bitter and twisted and resentful that their life wasn't the way it wanted to be when all they were doing was fulfilling their own vibrational script, which was life's unfair and I'm unworthy or whatever all of the myriad reasons are for a lack of success from personal fulfillment. Okay, so, all right. So were you a pretty child growing up?
Was I a pretty child?
What kind of child were you? Were you, you were a responsible child. Were you pretty? Did you like the way you looked? Did you feel beautiful? Did people see you as such? How was your self-image growing up?
So I think, honestly, I had a terrible self-image growing up. I don't know if many girls feel...
Yeah, a lot of models do.
Yeah, a lot of models do. I felt that I was really strange looking and I just felt like I was strange looking, and I never thought that I could model. I never thought that would be a thing that I would be doing. I was also really quiet. I read a lot of books and didn't really go out to play that much, even though my little siblings would always try and get me to.
You had a lot of people. Yeah. You had ready-made playmates.
Yeah, which I honestly look back at that and I am really thankful for that because... I always had people around me and like friends in a sense. So and especially moving around so much, I think that created this really, even though any family kills you sometimes, it's also a very tight bond because that
supports you as well as while they're killing you.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was moving around so much, so I never had like a childhood friend. I only have my family. So.
Did that make you, typically lots of actors also actors were, one, the product of broken homes, and two, a lot of had that similar army brat, peripatetic, moving around, having to go to different schools, having to adapt to different situations, and therefore having a really great sense of people and getting what you want and being different people for different people, to be able to adapt to different situations and different groups. Were you like that? Are you easily... What kind of person are you? Tell me, break it down. Give me your good and your bad points.
Okay, so I think it's interesting that you say that stuff. And there's this really great Instagram page called Niche. I don't know if you follow it before.
I'll check it out.
It just has a bunch of quotes about people, but it's saying something similar to what you said, that the most kind of... actors, like creative people, come from people who have moved around a bunch because of exactly what you're saying, which I never heard before. And this is the second time I'm hearing that, but obviously it makes sense. I never thought I was that type of person when I was younger, but as I grow older, I really loved traveling, which modeling has given me, and like meeting all these different people. And I always felt very introverted, which I think I am introverted, but I think I can easily adapt and like...
Because of that.
Yeah, because of that. I feel like a sense of kind of what you were saying earlier as I've grown older that I can do these things, and it's probably because of moving around so much and
Right.
yeah, meeting so many different people.
Right. But are you? So you're basically what you're telling me is that you're not social. You're not a social being.
Essentially, I think that
Are you more of a loner than a people person?
I would think so.
Do you
yes.
get energy from being around people, or can they drain you?
No, exactly. I get drained. I feel like I'm very somebody who can go out for a little bit, but I like to go home. Even in, relationships or something, I feel that I need to... my boyfriend at the moment, he's actually very social. He's a Libra and like an extrovert and gets energy from people and always wants to go out, but that's like... I would rather just sit at home and like be one-on-one with somebody rather than a group.
Yes, I'm a one-on-one person too.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah.
Groups make me anxious.
Innovate you.
Yeah. And I think also, this is a weird thing, I feel like I always need to like make conversation a lot when I'm in a group, I can't like just sit back, and I feel like so it makes me feel like I have to expel more energy and like think a lot about, how to make this person feel this way, talk to this person, and so...
Yeah, it's a strain. It can be a strain.
Yeah,
if it doesn't come that naturally. I agree. So you went. So there's slightly. Can we characterize it as negative self-image? How did that play itself out through your early adolescence, coming into womanhood? So how did you transition? First of all, before we get onto that, were you aware of fashion and modeling growing up as a child?
No, never.
Okay, it didn't even come into your radar?
No, never.
Okay, so how were your teenage years, puberty, first loves, boyfriends, love life, all of that stuff?
Okay, so I'll give you the shortened version. Basically, I feel that I did have a negative self-image. Actually, I didn't really have also a sense of fashion or anything, because most of my younger years, I went to a private school, a Catholic school. So we wore uniforms, and it wasn't really about, I wasn't really anybody to, add like knee-high socks or, do things to my uniform. So when we moved to LA, I went to a public school for the first time, and I had no friends, and I had just cut my hair into a very terrible haircut. Like it was like to here, but I just didn't, I feel, have the face for it. It was a bob, but I think the woman just cut it it was just bad. If I had a picture, I would show you, but I don't.
Do you think it read bad to your peers at school?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so what age are we talking about?
I'm talking about 14.
Okay, well, which is a difficult thing.
Yes, yeah.
And what are LA teens like? Because we see all of these thousands of teen movies that are made from the Valley and made about Hollywood and LA area. Was it that way? And in case it was, where do you think you fit into the hierarchy of high school life?
So honestly, I've been saying LA, and it is LA. It's LA County, but I was living in the suburbs of LA, and it's called Santa Clarita.
Oh, right.
Do you know Santa Clarita?
Is it in Irvine? No, it's not.
No,
Irvine's
it's
Irvine.
Not. No, yeah.
It's not in Orange County.
No, it's not in Orange County.
Okay.
It is LA County, but it's the suburbs, and it's about 30 minutes from like Sherman Oaks and places like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So is it sort of more Valley culture?
It's more Valley culture,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and it's, I hated it.
Suburban.
I hated it, yeah. It was terrible. I felt like I didn't fit in, and I didn't really have too many friends, but it wasn't that I was made fun of ever or anything.
So you weren't bullied?
I wasn't bullied because I feel that I am this person who is so, like, kind of into myself that I would never...
You wouldn't even attract the attention of bullies?
No, I wouldn't attract the attention of bullies because I'm so to myself.
Wow.
You know?
So you didn't have any close friends at school?
I did have close friends. I had a group of a few close, probably like 4 girls, but none of us were
You weren't
popular.
the cheerleaders?
No, we weren't the cheerleaders at all. And we sat and I later found out from my younger siblings that I sat in like the most unpopular area you can ever sit during lunch. But I had the best time of my life, kind of the best time of my life there.
You weren't bothered?
I wasn't bothered.
You were left to your own devices.
Maybe I am more like my dad than I think, like thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah, so basically that happened. And then 2 years, probably my junior year of high school, I met a girl who is to become my best friend, who I'm still best friends with. Her name is Annie. And I stopped being friends kind of with those other girls. No falling out, just became best friends with this person. And then graduated high school and kind of started to learn from Anna E how to dress better. Because before this, I was coming from a private school to a public school. My mom was helping me dress, basically, and I wore Skechers like the first day of high school. And
Is that a
no,
terrible?
it's
That's
terrible.
A crime. It's
yeah,
a crime.
I think it was a crime. Yeah.
On your first day.
On my first day.
So.
With the terrible haircut,
Right.
like a t-shirt.
Wasn't
shorts.
a good first impression.
It wasn't a good first impression. Yeah.
Now, wasn't it a diverse? Because obviously all these counties and different places in America have different populations. Was it a diverse one culturally, economically speaking, or was it quite all white bread, typical?
Yes.
It
Yeah, I would
was.
say. Yeah.
Okay.
It was mostly.
So it wasn't that there were lots of Latino
No.
kids at the school, or no?
Yeah, no, it was mostly white and Asian.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So there was an Asian population.
There was an
there.
Asian population, yes,
Okay.
but mostly white and upper middle class, I would say.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, high school, nothing super terrible happened. I graduated, I survived.
Did you enjoy it, or did you not enjoy it?
No, I didn't enjoy it.
You didn't want to really be there.
I didn't really want to be there, no.
Oh, is that yours?
Oh, that's
That's
yours.
my phone. That's not doing the recording any good, is it?
No, it's not.
I should have put that into airplane mode.
It's okay.
You learn, live and learn. So, okay, that's enough.
So,
It's going on.
yeah.
We just have to ride that one out. They're persistent. I hope it's not my daughter at camp. I know, it's fine. You see, a father's
I know, father.
straight away.
can-
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
My wife's upstairs, and I
Okay.
think they have her number too.
Okay.
Okay, so all right, first love, all of that.
Okay, through this process of high school, actually, I never had a boyfriend.
Did you want one?
You know,
Were you ready
looking
for one?
back-
Did you want one? How important was love? When did it happen? How does that happen?
I was such a late bloomer. Also, this is all embarrassing things that I'm telling everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't have my first kiss until I was 16.
Right?
Yeah,
Is
and-
that I can imagine that's being late right now.
I think it's very late. Yeah.
But right now, but in the scheme of the history of mankind, I don't think so necessarily.
Okay,
I think
good, yeah.
16's good, isn't it? Sweet
Yeah,
16.
I think so. I mean, I didn't really care. I was never really boy crazy, honestly.
You weren't?
No, never.
Okay.
Ever. And then when I was 18, I graduated high school and I had my first boyfriend ever.
Who was he? How did you meet him? What's his name? Are you still with him?
I'm not still with him. His name was Kenny, or Ken, and he was older than me.
I think of South Park immediately, of course.
Yeah, I know everyone.
Being killed.
Yeah.
Poor Kenny.
Poor Kenny, yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah, it's a good name. But
It is a great name.
Yeah. He was 23. He was 5
He was
years.
older than you.
Yeah, he was older than me, which I think was part of the appeal.
Attraction,
probably.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He was also kind of bohemian, I would say.
Cool.
I met him because of my one of my best friends, who actually I had a falling out because of that relationship.
Did they feel neglected? Did you just drop them in favour of Kenny?
I mean, it was her brother.
Oh, it was her brother.
Yeah, it was her brother.
That's how you met him.
That's how I met him. I didn't want to be with him, but she's actually the one who pushed me on him.
She
And then
pushed you on him?
Because she thought we'd be a good match.
Well, she has nothing to freaking
Yeah,
complain
exactly.
about then. She made it happen.
Yeah,
It's her fault.
yeah. It was a complicated.
But it was complicated because what it had an impact on your friendship.
It had
Because
an
you wanted to
impact.
be with Kenny. You came to
Yeah.
see Kenny.
Exactly. Yeah. So and
Don't do that. Would you
If I-
counsel other teens not
know.
necessarily that it comes with its own issues?
Yeah.
So did it break up the relationship?
It did. Yeah.
It
It
did?
definitely did. Yeah. We weren't friends, and we're still not friends
Oh,
to this day. We
no,
don't
hang on,
even-
hang on. I meant the relationship with Kenny.
Oh, I'm so
no,
sorry.
she
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
she didn't stick
No, yeah,
around.
she didn't
That
stick
ended
around,
up- right.
I mean, it kind of, I think his side of family probably didn't like me too much. I mean, you know, we were together about 3.5 years or something.
Because
so.
they considered you too young for him?
No, it wasn't that. It was some other, later on. The
Yeah.
reason we're not together now is because he actually became immersed in drugs.
Oh dear. Now, let's
And
talk
so-
about that because
yeah.
my daughter is coming up to 11
Mm-hmm.
and we live in Brooklyn, New York
Oh, yeah.
today.
Such a
Were
scary place to raise a kid, I think. New York.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But Los Angeles and these two, there's drugs.
There
Were there drugs at your high school?
You know,
What were kids taking? What were the drugs of choice?
You know, later I came to find out that kids in my high school who were in class with me, like on breaks, would do heroin.
Great.
Which I was so confused.
Fuck, did you know?
That's right. I thought they had smoked weed.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was something like
a gateway
that.
drug.
Yeah,
They just went straight through to heroin.
Yeah.
And is this part of the overall problem of opioid addiction generally today? Is there a lot of heroin out there?
I think there is, and I think that that kind of epidemic is happening mostly because of pills, especially in small, or not even small, but like suburban towns. You know, like where nothing really is going on, and
People are depressed.
People are depressed, and people are bored probably,
Yeah.
and popping their parents' pills, and then it leads to
Right.
you know, heroin. And I think there definitely is gateway drugs, because I can totally see just with heroin, you know, it's like, oh, popping a few pills, and then like, oh, this
Yeah.
doesn't, smoking it, and then shooting it up or
Were
something.
they shooting it up? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't know if they were shooting it up.
Okay.
I don't think at this point, but
heroin,
that like
was being taken.
is a transition. Yeah. So
Right.
and yeah, drugs are just bad. I mean, I'm happy I never fell into that, but I was definitely very involved kind of in that world when I was
Right.
younger. I kind of got sucked into it a little bit.
Yes. So Kenny.
He became addicted to heroin.
Right.
Actually.
Shit.
So that's why we're not together anymore.
Right. Because it's difficult living with an addict.
It is. Yeah, it's very difficult.
Do you feel second best?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That was actually the problem. I felt that, you know, because at this point, also, he wasn't the person. It sounds so cliche, but once you become addicted to that, there's this thing that happens where you just aren't even the person you once were.
Yeah, right.
You know, because it
Right.
just kind of takes over your life, and it's all they can think about, and it is their priority because it's like all they can live
for.
on. Yeah, so
That's unfortunate. So
Yeah,
how long
it
did
is.
that relationship last for?
like 3.5 years, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was it a question of once bitten, burnt, or whatever, because it didn't work, twice shy? Or was it the next relationship easier, or did it color your view on relationships?
Yeah, I think it did. It definitely did.
Did you want to be just by yourself afterwards, or did you what? Tell me how it affected
you know what? I did, but I kind of feel bad about this. I ended up getting in a relationship kind of fast after him.
Rebound.
I think it was a kind of a rebound at first. I actually am still seeing him.
Oh, great. Nice one. So we went from Kenny to your current
Yeah, Mars.
beau.
Yeah.
Mars, that's a great name,
Yeah,
man.
and that's actually his birth name. Like his parents named him
Were they
Mars.
hippie dippies?
Yeah, they're kind of. They were influenced by I'm forgetting what the film is. It's by the guy who did Malcolm X. Like, who's the director? Do you know that guy?
Malcolm X, I can't remember who directed that film.
Well, it's some famous director, and like one I'm forgetting. It's from a movie, and his brother's name is Spike.
Oh,
which
Spike
is also
Lee.
So
So
Spike
Mars
Lee, yes.
Blackman, I think, was the character that
Yeah.
Spike Lee played in She's Got to Have It, his first
Yes, that's what it is.
debut
Thank you.
launch film, Mars
Yeah.
Blackman, or whatever that character's name was.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
Spike.
I'm one to think that, and I guess his parents thought this too. I think that unique names, you know, if you give your kid a unique name, maybe it kind
gonna
of sets
stand
you
out.
up for something.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Spike himself,
Yeah. So, what was your daughter's name again?
Tallulah.
Tallulah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that's why his parents like named him Mars. You know,
Right.
no one really has that name. I've never met another Mars except
It's
her
great.
from that movie. So yeah,
I love it.
I love it too.
So how did you meet Mars, and how did that happen?
I met him through a friend, a photographer who I was shooting with at her house a while back, and he was living in the same house at the
Right.
at the moment, and then he was going to art center with her, which is a school in Pasadena.
Which is a famous one.
Yeah, it's a really good school. He's already graduated.
It's one of the
but-
best art schools in
Yeah,
America.
yes, definitely.
Was he studying photography? What was he studying?
Cinematography.
Right, so he wants to
Yeah.
make movies.
He wants to make movies.
He wants to be a director or a cinematographer.
Cinematographer.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and he's really amazing.
That's so great. So
He
did
has
you?
really great talent. And I'm happy you can actually, you know, sometimes, I don't know if some people actually think this, but, you know, like your partner does something and you're like, Oh yeah, that's
He
really
impressed
good.
you.
Yeah, he actually impresses me.
He impresses
though.
you.
Yeah, so I don't have to pretend. I'm really bad at pretending. I couldn't
Of course,
be,
of course. You you respect and are
Yeah.
impressed by your boyfriend's talent.
Yeah, he has wonderful taste. I love it.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you fancy him immediately? What was give us the dynamics of how that happens? It's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
nice.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. I
Did
wasn't
he
attracted
you?
to him at all. Yes.
Immediately.
Immediately,
He thought you were
yeah.
cute.
I guess he had known me for a while.
As
Apparently.
in the house.
He knew me from mutual friends, and we had never met in person, but of course Instagram kind of knew me from that,
right.
and like seeing other people shoot me, and so I guess he.
You were a model by this time.
Yeah, I was kind of in it, but I wasn't really doing too much.
Okay, is
with
this
it.
a good time to segue into
Yeah, we should
your
do
model
that. This is-
story?
yeah.
Okay, so how did this start? What was the first approach? How did you become a model? Go.
Okay, so I never thought of becoming a model, but some people had kind of been saying
You should.
I should when
Because
I was
you were-
yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank
And you were
you.
skinny. Did you?
Yeah,
so
that's
when did you know that? At what point then? Going back to the self-image thing,
Mm-hmm.
did you think you started liking yourself? Was it through modeling, post modeling? Was it pre-modeling? Where did you think, oh gosh, that person in the mirror is looking beautiful or interesting
Mm-hmm.
or pretty, or I like it or I don't like it?
I think it was through modeling, honestly.
It was through modeling.
And it was through because I was scouted.
Okay, when and where? Give us all the details.
I was scouted in Huntington Beach.
That sounds so Californian.
It does, yeah. I had not even wanted to be in Huntington Beach. I was with my friend Anna E, and I was having a really terrible day. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting there on a bench, and I was just grumpy and in a bad mood.
But looking
and
so freaking
I guess
cool.
I don't even know. I think I have a picture from that day, maybe.
Do you?
I might.
Can you very quickly access it? I would love to see the genesis of this whole career on a bench in Huntington Beach. That sounds incredible. The fact that you have it, it might have
I
it.
know. I asked them to send it to me, but anyway, I
Do we
meant
have
to,
a picture of Annie?
I don't. I deleted most of my pictures because my
Right.
phone storage is
Okay,
terrible.
yeah.
But
You have to download that onto a hard drive.
yeah, you do. You do. Okay. Well, I can't find it at the moment.
Okay.
But
We can maybe come back to it.
yeah, we can come back to it.
So, all right.
So I was in Huntington Beach and I was
Yeah.
sitting on a bench and I saw a man staring at me. Which
Was this the first time this has happened?
This is the first time this has ever happened.
You
to me.
weren't stared at by men.
Oh, I was. I guess. Yeah. I mean, men stare all the time. No offense. Don't.
We're starers.
You stare.
Do-
Yeah, you always
now,
stare.
but that implies that women don't, and is that just built in? Are women avoiding the male gaze because
think
the male
I do.
gaze because the male gaze is so overwhelming to a woman that
Yeah.
there's a proportion of women who just avoid the male gaze because they don't want to get into the male gaze.
I
You
honestly,
do.
I think that
That's
I
you.
avoid it, and in New York especially, I think it's because I'm around people so much more than in LA instead of being in my car. But all the time, stares and being catcalled and
Really?
yeah, all the time.
Now, does
no
that
one-
make you feel good or does that make you
No.
feel vulnerable?
Vulnerable, I would say. But maybe I'm just being too.
But you're shy,
picky.
maybe.
I think I'm probably shy.
For an introvert, getting that amount of attention is
Yeah.
stressful
I think it's yeah. I think I'm
because you're
probably-
in the spotlight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, that's an interesting dynamic, though, when talking about the ultimate spotlight of being in front of a
Yeah.
photographic lens and being utterly the focus of a
Yeah.
whole crew. But we'll get into that in a minute. All right, so who's the gentleman who approached you on the bench?
So he was with another girl too. So there's two people. It was a man named Larry Clausen and Regina. I'm forgetting her last name right now. But they had been scouting for a while, and Larry actually is. Do you know who Haley Clausen is by any chance?
Yes.
You do, yeah. It's his daughter. So he got into modeling kind of through her a little bit. Because he saw everything his daughter was doing and like had been with it in modeling with her through her growing up and wanted to kind of
Yes.
empower women and like has the eye for scouting and seeing talent. And so he would see potential models and help develop them and then put them into other agencies. Now he has an agency today that has been around for about a year, but
As a
before
mother
this-
agent?
As a mother agent. Now he's my mother agent, but it's only been around probably a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what does Hayley Clawson look like? Because I'm sure I've photographed her. Or the name is so
Just
familiar that
Sports Illustrated.
I think I photographed
Blonde,
her once.
blonde hair.
I think I photographed
Yeah,
Hayley.
probably. She's beautiful.
I think
Works
I
all the
photographed.
time. Yeah.
It was a few years ago, but still.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe I didn't. I just know the name very well. Okay, so
basically,
did you feel creeped out? What was the?
Yeah,
how did you feel?
I was creeped out, and I mean, they took a picture and they did their whole spiel.
So you let them do this? You let these two strangers?
I did let them do it because I was kind of like, okay, and then
Were you flattered?
I was really flattered, and I was thinking about it, but then they wanted to meet for coffee.
So what was the first stuff out of their mouths? How did they tell you it? Did they say, "Are you a model?"
Yes, that's actually how
that
it
was
went.
the first question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a model? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not a model.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever thought of being a model?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
And then they introduce themselves.
Right.
And say that
was there a card that was given? Proffered?
I think there was a card. It was kind of less professional back then just because he was just a scout.
Right. So
I
did
don't
you
even
turn
really
to Hayley
remember.
when they left? Did you say call us, or did you speak to your parents? Or
Yeah, they said, we want to set up a meeting with you.
Right.
You can bring your parents if you want to do that. What's your email? Here's my email, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up setting up a meeting. But in my head, this is what I thought about myself in my head before leading up to that meeting. I didn't show up because I thought that it was
A
a
scam?
lie, a scam. Because I thought it was so strange that would happen.
Was that because you didn't believe it to
Yeah,
be
I
real?
didn't. I really didn't. I was so confused because
Were
that
you
had
in
never
denial
happened.
that you could?
I was, yeah.
You were in denial that you could be scouted as well.
Yeah.
That was part of it.
Yeah, I think so. So I didn't show up, and they kind of freaked
didn't?
out and they were like calling me a lot. And then I ended up, he was like, I really am a scout. Like, here are my references. Like, call these people. So I called, like Next in LA and like
Right.
places like that he had worked before, and
Yeah.
they told me that he was
For real.
for real. So then I actually set up a meeting with him, and the rest has kind of been history. I worked really closely with them, developing, getting my style.
Okay, so that is a consideration. Your style is part of a mother agent's responsibility, or your image is part of the image making process?
I really think so, and I thought that was just maybe for me because I had bad style or something, but I really think that a lot of models, from what I hear, when you're first starting out, they kind of help you because it's kind of a truly like different world that you're in. I don't know, just like what's considered cool, because I feel like before, what was considered cool in my mind was just so, it was mostly being the same almost in a way. Like, especially coming from Santa Clarita, like dressing the same as everybody, like not wanting to look different. I always felt that I looked really
Conforming.
different. Yeah, because I hated my nose.
Oh, you got
I have a little
bump.
bump right there.
You got the bump,
I
babe.
got the bump, and
That's
I
a
hated it.
distinguishing feature, and that's what's great.
Yeah, and I think that's what I hated, though, that because it kind of made me pop out more.
Yeah.
And and I really love myself, and I'm.
So how did that happen? It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
So is
It
this
took a
a
while.
steady process?
Very steady.
Okay, so what were your first jobs? How did you first know that you could do it? That you could actually be a model? When was the first dawning that you were one?
So it was actually working with this photographer, and it was the first photographer man who ever gave me a chance to model and do something. His name's Tony Duran. I don't know if you know him.
I have heard of him.
Yeah. He's a really amazing person and a really great artist. And
Where is he based out of? Los
he's
Angeles?
based in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, so I worked with him, and we did a few test shoots together because he knew Larry. So that's kind of how I got in. And then I did, like I said, test shoots with him, and I did a few different shoots with him because he just started calling me, and we would do random shoots together. And then he gave me my first ever job, which was for the Hotel Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas.
Wicked.
And yeah, so
that was it. So basically, Tony's belief in you and approval gave you a sense that you were a model.
I think that, it wasn't it, but that definitely started it.
The process.
Yeah, because I think I still, and I even look back, and I think I still doubted it, which kind of is such a hindrance too to doubt yourself, especially in modeling, because it's all about the confidence and how you
project yourself.
Project yourself. And if you think things are weird, then it's going to show that it's weird. Like, you need to just it's with acting too, you know, like you need to really set an intention and go for it.
Have you thought about acting?
I have. I mean, I feel so cliche. Every model.
Is that true? Because no,
no,
not at all. No, not according to my data culled from these interviews. A lot of models say, no, I like modeling. I don't want to act. It's not for me. Mm-hmm. It's a different thing.
I think I would like it.
Not for you. You would like it.
I think I might.
I think you'd be great.
Thank you. We'll see what happens.
Next step, but I guess you need the intention at least to start that ball rolling.
Yeah, you do.
And the fact that you would think that you're projecting that you might like it will give that make more possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so what was the next stage? So how did you go from working in Los Angeles? Is it any different to working in New York? Where are you now? How long? Where are you in the journey now?
Mm-hmm. So right now, I've been in New York for about a month. I work in LA a bit, but honestly, I cut my hair. And
okay, is this a big deal?
I mean,
you had hair before. You
I
had
did
longer
have hair. Yes.
Did you have long hair?
It wasn't too long. I've had.
You go down to here.
With
It wasn't too long.
with Tony Duran, I cut my hair, which was a big deal because it was probably like.
So did you look different?
I think I might have looked kind of different.
So your general sense of androgyny, which is what you lead with.
Yeah, I do.
This just cries androgyny.
Yeah.
That is what you're trading in a sense. If I was a booker or whatever, if it's about image making, you represent a kind of very modern, contemporary, cool sense of androgyny because of your short hair, because of your amazing structure of your face, and the boyishness of your thing.
Yeah.
How is that to be able to take on board those qualities? Do you feel androgyne? Do you feel that's who you are? Or are you playing, or is it somehow a role play or playing with an image thing? Where on that scale are you?
I do feel...
I mean, you look the way you look. That you can't do anything about.
Yeah. Someone actually told me, I forgot who it was. Was it like... It was a photographer, maybe a client or something. And it was just really funny. I walked in and they were looking at my book and then they were like, wow, this is so interesting. You look like such a boy. You photograph like such a boy, but in person you seem so feminine. And I feel that it's easier for me probably to draw on the androgynous energy, maybe. I don't know, easier for me to tap into that.
Well, you said you weren't doing the girly makeup stuff anyway.
No, never. I have never really been into the girly makeup.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that regard, just in terms of the superficial frou-frou of the female thing, you haven't gone there.
No, I haven't. And I think too, it's easier for I just feel like it's easier for me, like energy-wise. I think I can go between both. Like, I don't know. That's how I feel.
But you agree with me in that's how...
I do, yes.
That's how you're coming across. That will be your strength. That's how you're going to get booked. That's how you're going to be cool. That's how you're going to be the hot girl and you're going to be the cool girl. I mean, hot girl. Yeah. Hot as in...
I know what you mean.
Not saying that you're not hot.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
I get you.
Not the swimsuit.
No.
Victoria's Secret.
No.
But cool. And that is really great because it allows you to focus on that and to know that and have a goal and feel that is actually really strong and pure. Yeah. You don't have to be wondering why. Actually, there's no rules.
There is no rules.
There's fucking no rules. So, I mean, we sit here now saying, oh, you're not Victoria's Secret, and yet you could be Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, exactly.
The world is changing in so many subtle, interesting ways, and your freaking path is your own and will be totally independent of anyone else's. Now, what do you want? Do you know what you want?
Does anybody really ever know what they want?
How long have you been modeling now, then, as we sit here?
Probably about 2 years now, I would say.
Okay,
now
in that 2-year period, you've done lots of pictures?
You know, I think I have done pictures. I've done things, but I feel that the ball is rolling.
Starting. So you think you're at the beginning rather than even halfway through?
I think so.
You feel at the beginning. So if the beginning, what is the beginning? What represents, do you think, a milestone where you can say, I'm now successful, I'm now a successful model? What does that look like to you? Is it booking a big campaign? Is it making money? Is it proper money? Is it being on the cover of Paris Vogue? What are the indicators? Do you know it, and have you studied fashion enough to know, oh, actually, I want to work with that photographer and that stylist and be on that cover with that client?
You know, I really haven't studied fashion enough to, I feel like a bad model. I've never been really like a fashion person, and I really do feel to this day that I still don't have that.
And that's fine. But you're wearing wool, I've just realized. You must be really, really hard. That's wool.
No, I don't think it's
cotton.
No, yeah, it's cotton.
Okay.
But
Sorry.
I lost track.
No, sorry, I'm terrible at well. I was actually, someone on YouTube said, don't fucking interrupt the girls in the mid-train of thought each time. I'm so sorry.
No,
so the last guy who said that, here I am. I said I'd be better, and I'm doing it all over again. Can't help it. It's part of my personality.
I don't. Oh, that's what I was saying.
Yes.
I don't know who I. What is success to me? I think I'm really into actually art history, and I would like to go back to school for that. And I think that I'm really interested in, art direction and taste and things like that. So the fashion for me has never been something central to me, but I really love like photographers' visions and like just the art of it. And shooting with a really cool I mean, I've never thought I want to shoot this magazine or this magazine. I would really love to, but at this moment, I really want to make money. So maybe
I love that. Let's boil it down to the freaking nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Which is making money. Having a career is making money and having an income from what you do.
And I would love to I mean, who doesn't? I would love to have a career, but I just want to say too, maybe people don't say that too often. When I was coming to some agencies here looking for an agent, one person I went to said I shouldn't have cut my hair. And they also said that, you're not really going to get any jobs. It's not like you're going to have a career here. And like, we're just trying to look kind of to make some money. And I wanted to just say out loud, I do want a career from that. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is to like make the big bucks now. So, yeah.
Now, what would you have done if this opportunity hadn't arisen? What did you want to do before? What did you want to do? If no one had scouted you, what would you be doing to make a living? What would you want to do for a job, a career?
Honestly, I think that I was doing some things. I was doing some things, and I was kind of going to school, and I was kind of on the path to becoming a nurse, but I knew inside that I didn't really want to be a nurse.
Shouldn't have been doing it then.
No, yeah.
But you were doing it because you had to do something.
But I had to do something, and honestly, I've always, and to this day, I wish that I was somebody maybe like you or like my boyfriend who had this passion for photography or cinematography and was able to say that's what I want to do with my life, but I've never done that. Like I said, I was kind of lost. And modeling, I feel, I'm all about opportunities. I grabbed the opportunity, and I feel that it's only given me more opportunities.
Yes.
And
you're looking at what the universe can offer.
Yeah, exactly. So
one foot in front of the other.
So I don't know what I'd be doing, and I have a better idea of what's going on now and like what I want, and yeah,
that's
where
great.
I am.
So what's your philosophy of life? Let's boil it down.
My philosophy of life.
What do you think the meaning of life is? What is all this weirdness about for you?
I think you have to, which is hard too, you have to make your own meaning. There's really no meaning to it, maybe. I think that it's all kind of just this thing going on, and like, yeah, you just have to make your own meaning and reach out and grab whatever you can, like always be open to the things that are happening. And I don't know, that's kind of where I am right now, just reaching out for the opportunities and trying to make the most out of my life and make it as interesting as possible.
And what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? I think family definitely makes me happy. Good being around people who I love. That's really what it is.
Fantastic. Any other wonderful nuggets of wisdom that you can impart to any other models in your situation coming up to learn from, to help on their path, if if they want to be doing this and they're looking at you and hearing your story, is there anything that you might want to tell them that can help them get to where you are?
You know, I think, and another cheesy thing, you know, they never tell you growing up that the cheesy things are actually the things that you should listen to because they're actually said so many times for a reason. I really believe you need to always be true to yourself and like fucking be whoever you want to be and just own it. And don't try and think, oh, this person is going to think this is cool, so I'm going to try and be this. Just own who you are and you're going to get so far, especially in this business.
That is such an amazing nugget. Thank you for that. And they're going to thank you. And thank you so much for sharing so much of yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're going to do other things.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
That was Kayla from Silent Models. Wicked. Amazing. Very inspiring, might I say.
Thank you.
And you express yourself so beautifully about everything.
Thank you. I feel like I jumble up my words all the time.
So do I, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we're
okay.
pretty clear.
Yeah, we're good.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very
Bye,
much.
guys.
Bye.